Hey everyone, welcome back to the Power BI series. In today's video, we are going to take a look at some of the key options which are available in the Home tab of Power Query Editor. So let's start by importing the data first. So my data is present in the CSV format. So I will click on the respective connector. So how can you get the connectors is you have to click on the get data option. Then you can select the respective connector. So my data is present in the CSV format. So I will click on the text or the CSV option. Now you will be redirected to browse the respective file. So this is the data that I want to fetch inside my Power BI desktop. So I will click on open. Now over here you will be able to see the preview of the data which is present in that CSV file, and at the bottom you will be able to see the three options: load, transform data and cancel. So if you click on the load, then the same data will be loaded inside your Power BI desktop. If you click on the transform data, then the same data will be redirected to Power Query Editor and you can perform some transformations over there. And if you click on the cancel, then this pane will get closed. This dialog box will get closed. So for now, I will click on the transform data so that I will be redirected to Power Query Editor where I can transform this data. So I will click on the transform data option. Now I'm redirected to Power Query Editor, and we have already familiar with the interface of a Power Query Editor. We have explored few options from the Home tab of Power Query Editor. Now we'll explore the remaining options. So there is option called as a choose columns. So if your data is present in a wide format, if you want to select only the specific columns, you want to perform the analysis on not all the columns but only few columns are of your use, then you will explore this option. So you can choose respective columns which you are interested in. Let's say I want to have order date, product ID, category and the cells. I am only interested in all these columns. So I will select these columns and I will click on OK. So you will be able to only see the selected columns that you have chosen, and this step will be added on the right side in the applied steps. And if you want to go to the previous step, you can always cross out the step so that you will be able to go back to the previous step. Now the next option is go to column. So if your data is present in the wide format, like if there are number of columns present in your data, to jump to any specific column, you will use this option. So I will click on go to column if I want to go to profit column, because here it is not visible. So I will click on the profit column and I will click on OK. So you will be able to go to that respective column. Then there is option called as remove column. So if I want to remove this cells column, then you can use these options. In this drop down there are two options, remove column and remove other columns. So if you click on remove column, then the selected column will be get removed, and if you click on the remove other columns, then the other columns than the selected columns will be removed. So if I click on the remove columns option while the cells column is selected, so only this particular column called as cells will be removed from this table called orders. So I will click on remove columns. Now you won't be able to see the cells column. Okay, so if you want to get back that cells column, you can cross out this step. You will go to the previous step. Now let's say I want to have only the category and the cells column. Rest of the columns are not of my use. Then what I will do is I will select the multiple columns by using control key, and I will exercise this option, remove other columns. So other columns other than the category and cells will be removed and you will be left out with these two columns only. If you go back, if you want to go back to the previous step, you can cross out this step. Now there is a next option for the keep rows and the remove rows. So to demonstrate these options, let me first add the index to this particular data that I am having. And to add a index column, you have to go to the add column tab. Then in the index column, you can choose the index column starting from 0 or starting from 1. So I am clicking on the from 1 option so that a new column will be added whose name is index, and it will give the unique row number to each and every row. It will give unique number to each and every row that is present in your data. So this particular data is having 220 rows. So the index will be having 220 values. Okay. So I will demonstrate the keep rows and the remove rows option now. So if I want to keep the first 5 rows, then I will exercise this option, keep rows, keep top rows. Then it will ask you to how many rows that you want to keep. So if I provide here 5, I want to keep the top 5 rows and I will click on OK. Then you will be able to see only top 5 rows you will be able to see over here. Now I want to go back to the previous step. So I will cross out this step. Now I want to demonstrate the next option, which is keep bottom rows. So if I want to see the bottom 5 rows, then I will exercise this option. So over here I will write 5. Then you will be able to see the bottom 5 rows. I will click on OK, and these are the bottom 5 rows of my data. Next is nothing but keep range of the rows. So if you want to keep the range of the rows from, let's say, from the row number 2 till the next 10 rows, if you want to have the data in such format, then you will be using this option. So the first row to be considered is row number 2, and next I want the 10 rows after the second row. So I will click on OK now. You will be able to see from row number 2, next 10 rows are fetched. Okay. So this is the option for the keep rows, and the next option is to remove the rows. If you want to remove any particular rows, either top rows or the bottom rows or alternate rows, then you will explore these options. Also, Power Query Editor provide you with the keeping of the duplicate values and keeping of the errors. Also, it allows you to remove any duplicates that are present in your data and to remove any blank rows, also to remove any errors that are present in your data. So accordingly, as per requirement, you can exercise these two options. Then the next option is to sort the values. So let's say I want to sort this cells column in ascending order. So either you can use this option to sort the values, then the data will be sorted in ascending order, and on the right side you will be able to see the one step got added called as sorted row. Another shortcut key is that you can cross out this step, and over here beside the name of that column you will be able to see the arrow icon. So if you click on this arrow icon and if you click on the sort ascending option, then also you will be able to sort the values. So to sort the values, either you can exercise this option, arrow icon next to the name of the column, otherwise you can sort the values from the home tab itself. If you want to sort these values in the descending order, you can exercise this option. So the values will be sorted in the descending order. Then next comes the option of split column. So let's say this is the column that I want to split. I want to have three new columns created based on this column in such a way that CA will be in my first column, 2018 will be in my second column, and the last numbers will be in my third column. So how it is possible in the Power Query editor? This is one of the data transformation, right? I want to perform some kind of operation on this particular column. So what I will do is I will split this column based on a delimiter. Now what is a delimiter? Delimiter is nothing but the value which is being separated in this particular text. So hyphen is there which is separated by this CA 2018 as well as this last number. So what I want to do is I want to split this particular column based on the delimiter, and that delimiter is hyphen. So wherever any delimiter called hyphen comes, I want to split my data and I want to split it into a 3 column. So what I will do is I will select this column first, then I will go to the split column option. I will exercise this by delimiter option. Then it will ask you to split column by delimiter. So here it has detected that in this particular column the delimiter called as hyphen is present. Now if you want to split your data at the leftmost delimiter, you can use this option. If you want to split your data at the rightmost delimiter, you can use this option. But my condition is I want to have a 3 columns, right? At every occurrence of that delimiter I want to split my data. So I will use this option, each occurrence of the delimiter, and I will click on OK now. Now you will be able to see that 3 columns will be created based on that single column. So this is the option called as the split column. Also there are other options by called number of characters, by positions, by lowercase to uppercase. So you can exercise this option as per your requirement. I want to cross out this step because I want to have my original data with me. So I will cross out the steps. Now I want to show you the group by option. So what is the meaning of group by? is, let's say I will give you one scenario where these are the categories and I want to find out the category wise total sales, category wise total profit, or category wise average profit. So this particular categories are repeating in the data, right? Because there are some transactions that are happening over here. So this particular category values are repeating in my data. So what group by will help us? Group by will group the similar kind of data together and it will provide us the aggregated value. Like we want the total sales, we want average profit. Likewise, you can use this group by option. So how can you use the group by option is you have to click on this group by option, then it will ask you to specify the column to group by and the desired output. So what I want to do is I want to find out the category wise total sales. So I have selected the category column. You can also change the different column if you want to have. Now I want to group the data based on the category. So I have selected the category. Then it is asking us for the new column name. What should be the name of the new column? So let's say I want to give the new column name as a total sales. Okay, now I want to add the cells, right? So I will use the aggregation operation as a sum, and which column you want to add? So I want to add the values of cells. So what this particular group by option will do is it will group the categories based on the cells value and it will perform the sum operation, and whatever that new column will be created, that column name will be total cells. Now I will click on OK. Now you will be able to see that data got aggregated, data got grouped by, and this particular step got added on the right side, grouped rows. So if you want to go to the previous step, you can cross out this step. So this is way you will be using the group by option. So I will cross out this step so that I will get my original data. Now you can always change the data type of the columns. How can you change the data types? You can either click on the left side of that particular column name. You will be able to see all these data types that are supported by the Power Query editor. So if that particular data is not in the right data format, then you can choose its data type correctly by clicking over here also. Otherwise, you can click on this particular option. Here also you will be able to see the data types. So you just have to select the data type, and if I want to change its data type from the whole number to text, I will select that column and I will change its data type to text. So this data type got changed and the new step got added. Now if I want to add this first row as a headers, then there is option over here. If you want to add the first row as headers, then you can exercise this option, use first row as headers. So if I click on this option, then whatever your first row is there, that will become your header. So if I click on this option, you will be able to see that first row became my header. And if you want to demode that headers, like if you want to make that header as a first row, there is option called as use headers as a first row. So if I click on this option, then whatever the data that you are seeing at the headers, that will come at the first row. So I will click on use headers as first row. So you will be able to see the data has come at the first row, which was already present at the headers. So this is the way that you will be using this option. If the column headers are not in the correct format, if their column names are not correct, then you can use this particular options. Use first row as headers and use headers as first row as per your requirement. Then there is option called as replace value. So let's say this particular value 13, I want to replace it to some other value. So how can I do that? I will select that value, then I will use this replace values button. Then it will ask you that which value you want to replace. So value to find is value 13 and I want to replace it, let's say, with 333. So I will click on OK now. So what it will do is it will find this value called 13 and it will replace it with 333. I will click on OK now. In the column 3, you will be able to see that this 13 value got replaced with 333. So these are some of the transformations from the home tab of the Power Query editor. So we saw how to import the data from the CSV format and explored some of the key options under the home tab of the Power Query editor. So if you have found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more upcoming videos. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.